climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up,
You abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore. Just a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore. When you lived inside of me, there was nothing I could conceive that you wouldn't do for me. Trouble seems so far away. You changed that right away, baby. You abandoned me.
That nighttime ride music.
Love don't
Right.
live
Ride down the shore with the top down, sunroof open, something,
Breezing,
heater on.
just floating,
Yeah.
right? Welcome back in. You are into hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Had to get into that classic Rolls Royce. You know. Let's talk about really quickly. This has nothing to do with the things that we're going to talk about this hour. This is a Rolls Royce based topic. Shout out to Pretty Brown Mimi in the chat who said Rolls Royce is this trivia night. Andy is hitting us with the, soft cuts.
I got to talk to you, Andy. We gotta have a sidebar.
What
offline.
happened during your birthday, Andy?
Yeah.
Everything was cool.
First of all,
It
happy
was amazing.
happy belated birthday
Happy
to
belated
Andy.
shout out. We shouted you out
Yes.
here
Thank you, man. Much love.
doing your big Scorpio Libra cusp
You already know.
esque.
Yes.
So it was amazing.
It was chill. It was chill.
Where you go eat at?
You know what? I didn't do any special restaurants or anything like that, man. We just pulled over to like a little takeout garlic noodles, and just came back to the crib, man. It was just a chill, relaxed day. I got to spend time with my lady. We don't spend too much time, during the week. Our schedules clash. So, in a lot of ways, man, just spending time with her was already a gift in itself.
Okay.
Good.
I'd like
good.
to hear that.
All right, good. That covers my questions that I have for you later.
Amazing. We like that. So my Rolls Royce bit, shout out to the Car Wash soundtrack, right? Listen, I really love that movie.
I haven't seen that in a long. It used to come on Channel 5 all the time.
It used to come on a lot. I haven't seen it in a long time either, but I think about the lady in the bathroom and the radio DJ that kind of weave the whole day together over there and stuff like that. Bill Dukes. I can't remember the name of his character. That was a great Richard Pryor as what was the Reverend's name with the Pointer Sisters as his backups. That is a classic movie. I might have to go see if that's like where that is on. What Tubi?
It might be on Tubi.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to go check it out. And best believe we have not forgotten about our Tubi movie and TV reviews. You guys have been slacking on sending us stuff, but Trent has something that we're gonna get into later.
Compelling.
Now, before we get into this Dwight Howard story and unpack the various layers of it, we're going to take a little journey on the DJ Envy Erica Mena train, right? So we know that Erica Mena has been in the press, lately because on Love and Hip Hop, she called Spice, who is a Black Jamaican artist, a blue monkey. Highly inappropriate. You don't address any Black person as a monkey. You know that. If you are even loosely affiliated with Black culture, you knew that. So, is what it is with that. However, Erica is on that interview tour. I don't know if she's trying to get her spot back. She is Tubi movie queen, right? She sat down with Carlos King. Carlos King is a reality TV show producer. He has put in a lot. And so, he has this podcast and he interviews the reality show girlies and they open up to him. But before we get into that, we have a caller on the line, Juliet from Watts. Watts is in the building. Hey, Juliet, thank you for...
Yes. And I give honor to our ancestors and our righteous elders, and I just love you guys. But listen, it was Abdullah on Bill Duke.
That's right. That was the character's name, Abdullah. Listen, that movie is a classic. And Abdullah versus the other men in the car wash,
Century Drive-In, baby.
Okay. That's where you saw it at the drive-in back in the day?
Back in the day on the other side of Zodi's. I love y'all.
You said the one on Centinela?
No, Century Drive-In.
Oh, Century Drive-In. Okay.
Zodi was on Crenshaw and Century.
All right. You went. I think I bought my first 45 from Zodi's, the one that was on Slauson back in the day. It's now Home Depot. I remember Zodi's. Shout out to you.
Shout out to y'all. I love y'all. Power to the people.
Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you. Listen,
I loved her energy.
I did too.
That was real LA right there.
Right?
You felt that. I loved it.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it because Car Wash did take place in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it did.
With the Fly, with his afro. I'm gonna have to watch that movie again. So we were talking about Erica Mena, and we know DJ Envy has been in the news as of late, right? About what may or may not be his involvement in a real estate Ponzi scheme, allegedly. There's a lot of videos that have popped up about him having conversations about this business venture on the Breakfast Club, whatever. But what some don't remember is part of what started he and his wife. We talked about this with Tyrese counseling he and his wife a few years back on his cheating and stuff like that. The woman that he was cheating with was Erica Mena. And he was cheating with her for years. And so, naturally, Envy's in the cycle. People have probably forgotten that little aspect of it, but not Carlos King. He's going to get to the tea, baby. He's going to ask those questions, and they allow him to do so because there's kind of a level of trust with him because he's been a reality TV producer, and maybe they want to be involved in his next project. So it looks good. On the other side, we're going to get into Erica Mena's comments to Carlos King, and then we will get into this Dwight Howard story and how one former alleged victim of Dwight is breaking their NDA to get in and comment on the current case. All of that and more, you are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
This season, your coffee orders are getting warmer and your outfits are getting cozier. The world keeps changing, and so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're one of the best ways to help protect yourself against COVID-19. You can get a COVID-19 shot at the same visit as a flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn more and schedule at vaccines.gov. And don't forget to get extra cinnamon spice. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold. medicine.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of
Hey,
children.
nacho fries are back at Taco Bell, and there's even more fries to love. But they're not going to hang around forever, so don't wait. Or you might miss out on these hot, crisp fries covered in all those bold Mexican spices with delicious nacho cheese sauce. Or wait and just settle for flavorless fries. Regular, bland, spiceless, flavorless, flimsy, non-nacho fries. Just an absolute bummer of a fry.
Nacho fries are back. Get them today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact a local store for hours and participation which vary.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
Get Macy's lowest prices of the season on incredible specials you need for fall. Like 55 to 65% off dressy and everyday coats for him and for her. 30 to 60% off dazzling fine jewelry during our diamond sale. And 65% off comfy sheets and bedding from Charter Club Damask to stay warm on cooler nights. Plus, download the app for even more great deals at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
After a big dinner, my nighttime heartburn would keep me up. I'd be taking antacid after antacid all night long. But then I tried Prilosec OTC. Just one pill a day blocks my frequent heartburn for a full 24 hours, giving me one-and-done heartburn relief. Without heartburn keeping me up, I could have a restful night's sleep.
Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn.
It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we mentioned Erica Mena sat down with Carlos King to discuss, a multitude of things. But of course, the topic of DJ Envy came up. So Erica decided to share how they actually met and what happened when his wife Gia called her. And she said this is how she found out that he was actually married.
Obviously, I feel like your first scandal was people said you were a mistress in DJ Envy's marriage.
Yeah, because that came out right when I got on Love and Hip Hop. And we had just broken up because the wife found out, which I was totally oblivious to. I knew about the kids. Mind you, I have a kid, but I have a baby daddy. And it's more common where we come from to have kids, but you're not married. You just got a baby mama or a baby daddy. So I knew about the kids, and it was always told to me as his kid's mother. Never wife. And I didn't get that realization until I got the phone call.
From the wife?
From the wife.
She called you?
Mm-hmm. I bet they didn't say that on the radio.
DJ Envy's wife called you and said what?
Hi, this is Gia Casey. Is this Erica Mena? I said, yes. She was like, are you and Rashawn? And I'm like, Rashawn? I'm like, who's this? His wife. And I remember this day because I was in New York City with a friend of mine. It was her birthday, and Envy was DJing that night. So we were actually getting ready at a hotel for my friend's birthday to meet up with him, who's DJing in the city, to enjoy her birthday. That was like such. So coming out, okay, and then I just left King's father. This was my first relationship from that. And right away, he showered me with money, gifts, trips.
Envy did?
Yeah.
How did you meet him?
Through a mutual friend at a strip club called Jersey Girls.
So
yeah, he was a DJ every night. I was hosting that night. That's how we met.
Listen, Envy, he let it be known, and we know that it caused great strife in their marriage where Tyrese had to counsel them, and then they went on to do their podcast and put out a book and have more babies, and, they did the 12 days of Christmas where he would give the elaborate gifts to make up,
So hold on.
Yes.
Tyrese counseled DJ Envy and his wife.
Yeah, don't you remember we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and that's why Tyrese was upset with Envy and the jokes he was making, because he felt like Envy should have more sympathy because he, tried to heal them. And Envy's position was, nah, dog, you were trying to backdoor and get with my wife. You were saying some inappropriate stuff.
Low key. That's the fact that, you was there to counsel them. You just also found it a way to maybe low-key try to get at her on the low. Tyrese, you grimy.
Because why, first of all, why are you allowing Tyrese to give you relationship advice? That's number one.
He, he was speaking to the God in them, and he would, he became a friend to both of them.
And slithered in like a snake under the guise of Jesus and counsel.
And so, I guess.
There's a special place in hell for an adulterer and a backslider like that.
And Gia apparently told Envy, and so, blah, blah, blah. It was on some, I would never treat my girl. If you were my girl, I'd never treat you.
Can we just say this? It's human nature for people to cheat, but let me just look into the camera and say this. Cheat with somebody that you don't know. There's a whole lot of whoring on across town and things of that nature. Please don't do that to people that you know, and don't do it to your friends. That's trifling. It's
now,
crazy.
That is true. I don't know about the people that you don't know, because then you don't know what might happen. I say cheat with someone who has something to lose. Like you do.
If you're gonna do it and break your vows and all like that.
Which is gonna lead us right into our next topic.
Please stop doing it to your friends. Spouses. That's a no-no.
That's not nice. Shout out to Tony Yayo in the chat. He is, getting ready for our next conversation. Dwight Howard, he said Dwight should have hired a fixer like Ray Donovan to keep things under wraps. He has the resources. Does he?
He might have the resources, but you are not about to have a black man go find somebody to fix a situation where he is had a sexual encounter with another man. That is not ever going to happen.
I don't know about that. I think that there have definitely been some fixer situation. I just think, well, Andy, what do you have to say?
Just, back to the whole Erica Mena situation, Tyrese and all that. I just remembered, I forgot what reality show this was. I don't know if it was Love and Hip Hop or whatnot, but I remember Lala. I believe she had issues with Carmelo. And I just remember there was this one specific scene where she had lunch with Tyrese. And they were talking about the drama issues. So it just got me thinking, like, why is everybody going to Tyrese for relationship issues?
And look at where their relationships are after Tyrese advises you.
I think Tyrese positions himself as, very connected and listening and knowledgeable and godly.
He's a Sagittarius, right?
No, he is a Capricorn.
Same thing.
He just missed. You think so?
No. Really.
Okay. But yeah, he's right there, that late December thing. I think he shares a birthday with either or right around LeBron James and Tiger Woods. He's a December 30th type Capricorn guy, what have you. So, that's why TGT is always interesting to me. 2 Capricorns, and I believe Genuine is a Libra. So 2 Capricorns and a Libra. That's an interesting group. But shout out for TGT for getting back together. Okay, so Dwight Howard. Listen, there's a lot of moving pieces with this story with Dwight, right? However, there is a man who, I believe it was in 2018, made similar accusations against Dwight. He accused Dwight, and he also mentioned the Kitty woman who has been mentioned with this other young man, Stephen Harper, right? So
Kitty, baby.
Kitty. So I'm not sure how to pronounce this young man's name. I believe it's Maslini. I'm not sure. But in 2018, he came out with some very strong allegations against Dwight that were kind of swept under the rug, ignored. People felt like he was trying to, what are his intentions in exposing Dwight? He was saying that he had been abused, but it very much felt like the aspect that he was leaning on was, you're gay, and trying to sort of,
out him,
push Dwight's secrets out there. And I suppose that would be very hard when you're dealing with sexual assault in same-sex relationships with someone who is not out in the open, because there is an aspect that most people are going to think, well, why are you harping on trying to expose them and not on whatever you think the crime is? Why are you focusing on the fact that this person is gay? If you don't think that there is anything wrong with your sexuality and what you're doing, why are you trying to make it out like it's a bad thing for this individual to be dealing with you and such?
Well, there's two things at play here. There's a thing called gay panic that actually exists. It's when a presumed heterosexual or a straight person, curious person, gets caught in the act or caught around, a gay person, and they immediately panic and say, I'm not the one that's gay, it's them. So there's a lot of that happens. And two, there's this perception that gay men actively seek and turn to find straight men to turn out. Okay. That is so ridiculous. And so it's crazy because it's usually the other way around. It's usually DL men or curious men that are chasing gay men for the encounter to experience it. And then they flip it because it's easy to do that, because that is the perception.
Okay, so we're going to get to the comments that he put on Instagram in 1 second. I want to go to the chat really quickly. Urban Spencer says, Tyrese wrote the book, Get Out of Your Own Way. I forgot that Tyrese is an author. And she mentions how he was really up into the church at one point. He was very much a faithful member at Faithful Central Bible Church. Yes. Frequently saw him there, heard about him being there, took that step out into it. So I suppose that is what brought about his desire, urge, or willingness to give counsel to friends.
Great.
Should they accept it.
Got influenced by Kenneth Omer. Amazing.
Bishop Kenneth Omer. Okay, so back to your guy, Dwight, and the...
Why you gotta be my guy?
I'm not saying you.
Oh, okay.
It's you for all of us, all of the listeners. Not you personally. I'm not saying that. Although, shout out to us when we said Sagittarius. Shout out to us because we talked about the story initially 2 months ago, and you put a snippet of it on TikTok, and Dwight did come and like it and send you a short message in your DM in reference to what we talked about. So, like you said, you were right, I guess. But this is what Masseline, I'm probably jacking his name up, and it's probably not a real name anyway. But
who knows?
Who knows?
With these girls.
So this is what he said. Respectfully, I'll never speak on this situation again because it has nothing to do with me. I feel sympathy for the new victim and hope he receives justice. I believe every word. The only reason I decided to break my agreement and laugh publicly today is because after all these years and assumptions that I lied, after all these blogs tried to ruin my name and cover for an abuser, it finally comes out that he goes to sex parties and preys on younger men, which was originally why he threatened, forced, and tried to intimidate me into signing an NDA, which made me speak out in 2018. It was never about his sexuality. Yes, I got dragged for speaking on threats. I received about unwanted information I found out from Kitty, who was also harassing me in 2018. Remember, Kitty is the individual that the new alleged victim is claiming was part of this threesome that Dwight was trying to get going on with this person. And Kitty is a trans woman. Victim number 1 allegedly goes on to say, come to find out, Kitty was in attendance at this very sex party in 2021 where the new victim was attacked. God said, be silent, vengeance is mine. So, this is my question though. Why are you breaking your NDA just for that? I'm sure you got some money. Are you going to have to pay it back?
Depends on what the NDA said.
I'm sure it said you couldn't reference or talk. I mean, well, maybe you just can't talk about your situation, but you could talk about, maybe you can't talk about him at all.
And you could probably, let's see, what does my NDA say?
You got NDA?
I have several of them. The main one is I basically can't talk about it, and I could talk about it on this show, but I can't talk about it on my show.
Okay. We're going to circle back to that because
Yeah.
I have questions. We have JW from South Central on the line. JW, happy Wednesday. What's going on with you tonight? Thank you for calling.
Hey, how you doing? I decided to call in because I was just kind of curious about some of the comments that you guys referenced, and what I did notice, no facts or statistics were utilized when you did that reference to how women can initiate argument or violence, but men get falsely accused because there is a societal double standard, which is really unfair. But women should be believed, so don't misinterpret what I just said. And everybody should always wait for the facts to come out first. But like you said earlier, this newer generation is, and et cetera, with, the internet, people are like, spontaneous or instant gratification or whatever the point may be, impatient. But so make people come to judgment. Now I would like to move forward. I think I vaguely remember you or another show reference Ice Cube and his basketball league and the NBA.
It was me. Maybe some other shows too.
Okay, well, yeah. So anyway, here's the point. Exclusion, because he is saying that maybe they're, coming against him because of him being, the person that he is and exposing information and whatever the details may be, and they don't like that man standing up for his rights. So it could be consequences, punishment, because we don't have white men's privileges. But I'm curious, the NBA has rules and regulations and limits and restrictions, but the NFL is allowing players to be partial owners, because I know Max Johnson, he's a co-owner of the Washington Generals.
Commanders.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so there's like a contradiction there. It seems like there should be some equity here. You follow my point?
So when we come forward, I will address JW's point. We will also get more into this Dwight Howard story. And the chat wants to know more about Trent's NDA. So we'll get into all of that and more on the other side. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports on the other side.
You went away, found another place to stay, another home. You've abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore. Just a vacancy, babe. Love don't live here
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A New York City judge is not granting dismissal of Jonathan Majors' domestic violence trial that's slated to start November 29th. The black actor was arrested in New York in March for misdemeanor assault and aggravated harassment after allegedly slapping his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. In addition, the Manhattan DA now has previously unreleased London police report. A mural of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna in downtown Los Angeles will get to stay. The NBA 2K video game franchise has reached an agreement with the owner of the building the mural is painted on. The one-year extension will keep the mural from being painted over and replaced with advertising. Bryant's widow, Vanessa, recently joined the fight to save the mural, which is just a few blocks away from Crypto.com Arena. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Prime members save more at your Amazon Fresh store. As a Prime member, you'll save 10% on hundreds of items in store, from organic produce to pantry staples to handcrafted pizza. Head to Amazon.com/fresh locations and find a store near you.
We boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? 'Cause everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
You can do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink. Whoa.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
She's so smooth, so... I'm interrupting my own shower to remind you to treat your skin like the queen she is with Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. Packed with Olay's highest level of vitamin B3 complex. It's so moisturizing that it will give you visibly smoother, head-turning skin in just 14 days. People wondering, how'd she get so smooth? Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. Also, try Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion.
To some, this might sound like a typical family dog. But at Dog Chow, we know that for a veteran suffering from PTSD, this could be the sound of life-saving therapy.
Thanks, Betty.
That's why we've made it our mission to connect every military hero in need with a canine hero of their own. To learn about the simple ways you can help Dog Chow in our mission, visit dogchow.com/veterans.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk Radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Sounds of Ron Isley caressing you. Welcome back into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. VIPs, we are locked into a very interesting conversation regarding Dwight Howard and these recent allegations, and Dwight responding back, so to speak. He put on social media basically a video of himself saying it was something about how you think I'm reacting to all of this news. And it was like him in front of a computer banging stuff out and on the phone yelling. You know, he seems to be taking it in stride. I guess he's had like 4 or 5 years to get comfortable with the fact that his closet is blown open. Oh, by the way, in this video, he is sitting in a shoe closet. So the irony. What I do think and believe, though, is like, you know, at this point, we've seen him go and play in Puerto Rico, right? Not the most highest paying overseas
team. Is he in Puerto Rico?
I don't know if he's still there now, but
I thought he was in like Philippines or China or something like that.
He's played in a couple places. I could be wrong about, you know, what the most recent one was. Obviously, his
goal. It was the Philippines.
He went to the Philippines as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I shouldn't be so involved in Dwight Howard's life,
but obviously he wanted to be back in the NBA. That didn't work out. He's been doing a lot of reality shows. He did was he on the one for Mars or was the boot camp one? You know, he's always been sort of interested in
yeah, it was the boot camp one.
In you know, different things. His character arc from the time he got drafted into the league in 2004 to now is so crazy. When he first got drafted, he was spouting out about his virginity and how much of a Christian he was. And then he started messing with Mary Carey, the former adult entertainment actress. I actually met her and one of her friends on a flight back from NBA All-Star.
She ran for California governor, right?
I'm not sure.
I think she did.
They were interesting. They, you know, not what you would expect. It was an interesting conversation. And our flight also got delayed. So I spent a lot of time chatting with them. Brooke Chanel and Company in the chat says, wouldn't the person from 2018 who signed the NDA be sued for outing Dwight and using the blogs to plot to get money? Could be. I mean, they signed the NDA after the fact, so I feel as though some money has probably already exchanged hands. But to Trent's point, it depends on what they put in the NDA. He did not speak specifically about their incident, altercation, or situation. He actually was referring to something else. So if the NDA said you can't mention Dwight Howard in any capacity at all or comment on anything, then that is one thing. But this may not technically qualify as breaching his original NDA. Brooke Chanel also said, I know a lot of wealthy people settle out of court because it's cheaper to settle than pay lawyers and go through a trial. It doesn't mean the person did what they are being accused of. It certainly does not. And in this instance, Dwight is fighting back and trying to get the case thrown out of court. What I will say is it doesn't mean that they're being, you know, doing something that they're accused of, but it could mean that they're doing something that they don't want the public to be involved with.
That part.
Do you know what I mean? Now, whether that is right or wrong might depend on where you sit on the issue, whose versions of events you hear, or what have you. But there is definitely something he wanted to keep covert. And I'm not mad at that. You know, I have only signed NDAs to go to like a party or something like that, or an event or something related to a project, never in a relationship context, because you can't hold me down, son. But
oh God, those are the worst. I have one of those.
With the party thing?
Well, no, I have 3. One of them is for a lawsuit. One of them is for my old employer, a celebrity I worked for, and one was for a relationship.
Okay. So, I mean, they are getting harder to enforce, though. The Me Too movement has put some hiccups into
And then,
that.
too, if you really have a point to prove and
You don't care.
You don't care.
And also, if you're messing with somebody who doesn't have, like, there are some people like, you could sue me, but I don't have anything to give you.
Yeah, and you'll be chasing it for years.
Right. So, I mean, there's also that. The exposure that they get by bringing the topic to light, perhaps, is worth that. Terry says, I saw sex scandals about 2 years ago about his transgender friend in Atlanta about the time he played for the Lakers. There have been various scandals that have followed Dwight over the years. Some of them involving underage girls. I remember there were some very young girls that went to visit him in a hotel, young white girls back in the day. I wrote about it at the time, and they had posted some pictures that were quickly deleted because it just didn't look good. It didn't look good. There's also his ex-girlfriend, Royce Reed, who used to be a cheerleader with the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat. She also was on the first few seasons of Basketball Wives and VH1. She has at various points talked about or made reference to Dwight's particular set of habits and how she believes they have impacted their child. He has also thrown some accusations at her. They had a very contentious situation that played out over social media in the courts, and also ultimately some things that ended up impacting their son together, where there is a court case and some things that involve him that we will not get into here because he is a minor child, but they are pretty disturbing. And if you kind of look at what Dwight is being accused of and some of the behaviors and some of the things that Royce was accused of, it's not too far of a leap to see, how certain things happen maybe, or how some of the assumptions were made. Tony Yayo says, I can see why Golden State didn't sign him. And Terry says, when the Lakers signed him, I saw some information on the transgenders and the girlfriend. Well, he did have a situation because for a period of time, he was dating a former Los Angeles Sparks WNBA player named Tia Cooper. Tia was highly sought. She went to LSU at one point in time, and they were engaged, but they had beef, and she was beefing with kind of,
Kitty.
This was around the bubble time. Not sure if it was Kitty, but it was what appeared to be in the social media things, because, things get deleted and put up, a transgender woman. And there was some jealousy or things like that. She never went into it. She was very jealous, like came at him on live about some things. There were some things very publicly that happened with them. They were an interesting couple, and it was an interesting situation, but it flamed out pretty quickly. And the implication seemed to be Tia couldn't deal with Dwight's cheating. Not that she minded that he, she seemed to understand that. At least that's what some people say. Mm-hmm. But, there's a thing called respectful cheating, allegedly. So,
did you write a book about that?
I wrote, there's a chapter in there about respectful cheating. There is a such thing as such. I didn't say it was honorable. I said it was respectful. So, Terry says, with Hollywood, everything, most people in LA don't think about it. It seems so common in the entertainment community. And that is in response to Pretty Brown Mimi saying, Lonnie Love said her boyfriend signed an NDA, but if they ever break up, would he be entitled to anything financially or otherwise? It's probably not anything financially having to do with them breaking up. It's just a matter of depending upon what's in the NDA. Can he talk about her? Can he talk about their relationship? Can he make reference to it? Can he profit monetarily off of anything related to her? And the answer is probably no. When we come forward, we will get some final thoughts on this situation. It's a lot, and we still haven't even touched the surface on everything that is going on with it, but I'm sure it's something that we will revisit again.
Yeah, we can wrap it up in a cool 5 minutes.
You're locked into RSVP
I'll pack
with Jill
it nice
Munroe
and tight for you
here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Listen, so much happening, so much going on. Forensic accountant says my interest ends where people's love lives begin. And a lot of people have those feelings and those thoughts. And, you know, we certainly understand that you only are interested in the athlete, performer, whomever, for the talent that they put out there. And that's a perfectly respectable way to feel about it and view about it. The thing that makes it complicated sometimes, and the reason why I think people, you know, besides the fact that, hey, maybe they're bored or so, you know, intrigued by the topics, I think is one, a lot of these people utilize their personal lives to sell us products. They want us to be tapped in as consumers to their lifestyle, and they promote it to us. So, and then we've seen examples of this over and over again. When things go left, when they take us out the group chat, when they're no longer couples goals, and we're no longer just happy to look at their beautiful photo shoots of, you know, that are supposed to be moments of love, and something happens, and of course, maybe you want to keep it personal. We're like, what happened? What's going on? I know I'm curious. Not all the time. I don't have an expectation that people should have to put all their business out there, nor that we are entitled to it. But sometimes it is like, well, you put us on this road to begin with, finish it up. Again, without the expectation that they have to. I just mean satisfy my curiosity so I can keep up. However, the thing with Dwight is, one, it saddens me, and we talked about this a couple of times, that he couldn't be himself. It's interesting. Mace talked about on his show with Cameron, It Is What It Is, how everyone says, I don't care what people do when they leave here. What you do is your business. And though that's true, it really isn't, because people judge, people have opinions.
Especially when you're black.
And sometimes those things shape your professional life, whether we want to admit it or not, right? So some people are pointing to, well, this behavior, people probably knew behind the scenes, which I'm sure they did. I'm sure there's teammates, whomever, that knew about some of these situations, and they're implying that that is why he's not on an NBA team. And I don't know if that is necessarily the case. Could be, because sometimes, people get tired of the drama depending upon the team. But I also think that there's a lot of things that can combine and happen at the same time. Dwight has been in the league. Well, he hasn't been in the league for maybe the past 2 years, but drafted in 2004. Dwight was in the league strong. They won the title with the Lakers in 2020. So that's like 16 years at that point, right? That is a considerable length of time. And at some point, you get comfortable within yourself, or at least comfortable within the confines and boundaries that you have set up. So you don't move the same way, right? And I also think that, though still solid, there are new players coming up that are cheaper to fill some of these roles, that can be molded in different ways. And sometimes, even if you're serviceable, we see it all the time, no matter the sport, when we're talking team sports, across the board, sometimes your time is just up. And that's just what happens. I think, having gay men in professional sports is not new. It may be new more so like that we discuss it more. Where is Michael Sam? He was the poster boy, but only because he was meant to be the poster boy, but couldn't actually hold up the other end on the field. Ultimately, people care, but how much do they care when they're just trying to win and you're at your peak? It starts to probably take more of an issue when you're on the downside, those down years of your career. But I don't know, can't say for certain, obviously, if that's necessarily the reason why he's not in the league anymore, just because, Dwight's about to be, 37, 38 years old. The league is very young. So we will see. Any final thoughts, Trent?
Yeah, I just feel like I don't think his sexuality had anything to do with it. I do feel, however, black men just do not have the space to really express their sexuality open and be in a vulnerable place. I think this situation, I'm glad that he did confirm that it actually happened.
Here's the thing. Court documents
confirm that he said that it happened. I'm glad that he acknowledged that it happened. When we first heard this story, I already knew what happened. It was a shakedown. It was two consenting adults, because no grown man is going to another grown man's house at 2:00 in the morning under the guise of we're just talking and chilling.
Here's the thing.
That's crazy.
To your
Unless
point,
it's your homeboy, or if it's some rescue mission or something like that, right? It's crazy. I want to bring up something, a Tubi series for next week.
That's right.
It has something to do with this.
Okay.
It's about, I started watching it tonight. It's called Eric Coker's Good Poison. And it's basically an anthology series that talks about the silent scars of black male sexuality. So everything from suicide, depression, incest, molestation, prison, drugs, rape, all the reasons and factors why black men could be gay, why they don't want to become gay, and all these things. Just the first 2 episodes is probably some of the most captivating TV I've ever seen for this particular topic.
Okay, well, we got to check it out for next week.
Eric Coker's Good Poison. It's about, I don't know how many episodes it is, but it's a series. So it's a watch that we can talk about for at least a couple weeks.
Facts. We're going to get into that next week. Thank you for that. With Dwight, he is a preacher's son, so I think that right
has
away,
something to do to it.
That, can cause some issues as far as sexuality.
I think there's some trauma there too. I think anytime you've got this element of violence and secrecy that goes along with sexuality, there's usually some trauma there as well. So I just hope that whatever it is, he works his issues out and just has healthier encounters.
Me too. I mean, because what I am happy is that, had this situation happen or come out even 10 years ago, it would be far worse for him.
Yes.
Like, obviously, it's not good for him, but it would be far worse. To your point, I mean, I have always maintained this, and, again, I'm not saying that it means that you are putting yourself in a position, but my stance as a woman, right, would always be, I'm not going on a trip. I'm not going to a guy's hotel room if I am not okay with potentially being involved with him in a physical manner, right? There are certain things, certain times. I'm just not doing it. I'm not going to confuse you. I'm not going to confuse me.
Right.
I'm not going to put myself in that position. And to your point, they were texting very sexual messages.
Off rip.
For a long time, sending photos
Yes.
and things like that. Someone that I saw on Twitter just commenting on it said, sounds like, seems like, feels like it was all good until, and this could happen with men or women, when you're dealing with someone rich and famous, until you found out you weren't the only girl in the world, like Rihanna says. When you found out that there might have been someone else. I am not saying that that is the absolute case in this situation. I am not saying even if that was the case, this person deserved to be abused if they in fact were. But what I am saying is that I've been around entertainment and sports for a very, very long time in a lot of capacities. And I have seen and come across and encountered a lot of things. And so that is why I take the stance that it is very important to wait for the facts to be revealed, because it's a lot there, and motivation is motivation. Shout out to everyone for rocking with us here on RSVP with Jill Munroe. Trent Jackson, our Keep It Real friend on Wednesdays. Remind the people where they can find you on social media.
At Trent the Artist, just the way it sounds, TRENT, on all platforms. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and my website, trenttheartist.com.
So make sure that you are doing that. As always, if you have any comments on the show, got some feedback, topics we want to cover, feel free to hit us up. I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Follow KBLA. Get on board with that. You can download the app and leave a message there. All of that good stuff. VIPs, tomorrow we have more interviews coming for you. I have an interview with a representative from Experian. We're going to talk about holiday savings tips and, the amount of money Rams and Charger fans are willing to go broke to see their teams. It was a pretty interesting topic. We'll also have an interview from someone else coming up that I'll share with you tomorrow. Make sure you are locked in each and every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to midnight for RSVP with Jill Munroe. On the other side, the best of KBLA. We appreciate you, VIPs. As always, thank you and have an amazing night.
Thanks for watching and listening.
It's time to go.
It's time to go.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning, everyone.